because you know, this is all there. So this is going to be group 2, right? And again, this could be for Toronto, or this could be for Toronto, right? We can put a dash, put this Toronto, right? Right. So this will be in Toronto or Montreal, right? Because we created our first one in Toronto, Montreal, right? So this is our domain local group in Montreal, our within our Canadian data center, right? So again, domain local, right? And then we also have our, let me rename this. Let me copy this here because I want to keep it consistent. I want you guys to learn how to keep things consistent, because within your companies, it should be renamed consistent, and it should be consistent at all times, right? Especially when you're designing your infrastructure, you're building, you're architecting your own environments, right? It makes sense. Using codes also as well too, so we can actually. I also like to, you know, shorten this domain local group, and we'll call it DLG, just so that I know what it is, right? So we use, we can also do this as well too. We can call this CMD, right? We can call it DLG. DLG, we know that stands for domain local group, right? And then we could call it Montreal, right? So Montreal, MTL. Right, so there you go. So making it consistent, making it easy, that way we know what each group is and what they do and what it's not for, right? So if we were to design this, again, we know our DLGs are in our Canadian country, on our data center and our data. This is actually a domain local group within Montreal, right? So in our region, right? So we would name that, or within Quebec, sorry. So this would be within Quebec, right? I'm going to say that. And then this is going to be I'll rename it just because I want you guys to learn this as well too. We know this already as a domain local group. And again, we know this already, so we'll just call it a DLG, and we'll call this Ontario, okay? So we know this is Ontario, right? And this is everybody in Ontario. So this is sort of like our domain local within the Canadian Data Center in our Ontario um, organizational unit, right? So we build these two designs, and then also same thing here. We're going to go into our US data center. We're going to right click. We're going to click new. We're going to click our group, right? And we're going to call this CUSD DLG. And then this one's going to be called, let's say Boston, right? Boston, right? Because we know that's in Boston, right? Or we could call this New York. And then whatever's within New York, if that's how it is, then this is going to be a local domain. So as you can see, these security groups are created. So if we go back, we know that these are domain local security groups, right? And we can state what this is. This is a domain local group for oops, domain. This is a domain local security group that was created for testing purposes, right? So we know this. And then we're going to hit OK. And again, there are no members. We can eventually add members. We can go within and protect this object from automatic deletion. And we can click apply. And we'll do the same thing for the other ones in Canada. So we'll go ahead and go to our Canadian data center. We will go to our province here in our provincial. And see, you'll notice too that our pre-named book, we can actually change that. Actually call this CMD DLG, right? And then we can call this font, right? So that's our group name. Right. So if we go back here, we go to properties, right? We have our name here. We have our members that we're not going to add yet. We have our memberships, right? So this will display only YouTube local domains, right? So even if we want to add somebody, right? So it'll show us our local domain only, right? and it'll show us the users right, that we're looking for, and then we'll see what kind of users are there.